Hey, this is Pretty Kitty. Welcome back to my channel. This is week 3 of Sketchbook Sunday. And if you're new here, every Sunday I upload a sketching video, mostly traditional sketching, but today's gonna be a little bit different on me just exploring ideas, and I'm able to chat with you along the way. So put me in the background, chill, have a cup of coffee, and draw with me. So the beginning of this video, I have no idea where it began. I have no idea what it was going to be. I had no idea how it was going to get to what I'm going to get to. But all I knew was that I wanted some sort of scene. I took a thumbnail from one of my thumbnail packs that I have just created, and I just wanted to sketch and define the background that I was working on. So I was just playing with shapes, playing with building an environment. I've been practicing my environments a lot now, and I've been wanting to get better at settings and pretty much placing my characters in an environment, which is something I still have a lot of trouble on. So I was trying to figure out, I was just sketching things, going through different passes, trying to define certain things, and I wasn't necessarily sure where the heck was I going with it, but I did know that I wanted to add a little bit of depth, and I wanted to add a little bit of foreboding, like a foreboding or threatening environment. So I started playing with different shapes. I started messing around, like adding a dragon in there. I wanted to sketch around. I just wasn't necessarily sure exactly what to do. And I think that's pretty much like the fun thing about these Sketchbook Sundays, or just throwing random sketches in your sketchbook. Like, I don't even know if I was going to do something that was a finished painting or not. I just wanted to screw around with something and see if I could come up with anything, because I haven't finished a piece in a while now. I was just playing around with different shapes and ideas, and kind of just letting my creativity just flow and just go with the flow, really. Let's see. So I wanted to tell a story. I wanted it to make you question what you were seeing, and then trying to figure out how is this going to affect the story in the end. I even messed around with values, because I've been trying to focus on my values quite a bit. Because I've been focusing on my values, I've been kind of looking at different ways of grouping my values and things like that, and how can I use that to add depth to a story or add depth to a scene. I started getting lost, so I ended up looking up some reference material. I started going on one of my favorite websites, which is pexels.com. That is a beautiful, beautiful website filled with beautiful, beautiful pieces. And I just kind of looked at a few cliffs and wanted to see what I could come up with. So then I enlarged the picture. Once I enlarged the image, I actually started to mess around with size, and I wanted to define the details a little bit. I noticed my layers started getting a little weird, so I was like, well, you know what? Why don't I group all my layers in just one simple thing? So here I am. I'm currently sketching out this dragon form. I wanted it to be like some sort of dragon. I have a thing for dragons. Some sort of dragon against a character, and I wasn't necessarily sure what I wanted to do. I liked the design of Toothless, as well as a fellow children's book illustrator, Will Terry. His dragons are so gumdrop-like. That's the best word I can explain. His characters are super round and chubby and cute. However, they can still remain menacing. Then I started drawing this character, and I was like, why don't I make him a rabbit? So happy Easter for you guys. if you celebrate that from the US. Happy Easter. So anyway, I just started going in with the background a little bit more, trying to figure out something that can work. I was just pretty much screwing around with the background as well, trying to find a way to figure out the background. Then I started rescaling the characters, wanted to fit them in the environment a little bit more, wanted them to have a legible yet believable scale. Like a rabbit is probably not going to look as big to a dragon as, as a dragon will to the rabbit. So I wanted them to have a believable scale. I wanted to show that there is a conflict between the two. There's this rabbit and a dragon, and they're not happy to see each other. I also wanted to have some clear line of action between them, and I wanted them to look really, really, I don't know, I wanted some sort of epic, almost battle scene. And actually, it looks almost like this. So as you can see, this is actually a very old picture of mine. I did this in 2010, about 2 years after I started doing digital art. And yeah, this was pretty fun. It was just this gigantic dragon, of course, gigantic dragon lizardy guy doing some weird, almost like Kamehameha out of his mouth. And this beaten up cat character that's just like, I'm not gonna let you win. I have this big sword or something. And yeah, this is awful. Okay, so anyway, back to the image at hand. So anyway, I'm sketching this little rabbit guy. So I started going into detail. I lowered the opacity of the one layer, and I started sketching out my little rabbit guy. And I'm like, okay, so what do I want him to look like? So I'm messing around with how his body looks. I want him to be almost like battle ready. So I was like, oh, what if I lean him forward? If I lean him forward, he'll be able to look like he's ready to spring into action. And I wanted him to do that. I want his body as a rabbit, as an anthropomorphic rabbit, he's able to do that sort of thing. That's just what his body and his body type allows. So I'm just sketching out this little guy and just messing around with different shapes. I want to keep the composition, I suppose, super simple. That's another thing I need help on. I'm also trying to get better at my composition as well. I want everything to feel like diagonal, as if there's a very rough, controversial conflict between these guys. I want them to look like they're angry at each other for some reason or another, and I want them to look like they're about to fight to the death. Now it's interesting because I feel like I might end up making these two friends in the future. Yeah, I might end up doing something like that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how, I have no freaking clue how this happened. I just knew that I needed a Sketchbook Sunday video, and I was like, well, I need to figure out what I'm gonna sketch. I haven't come up with anything, I've always been doing these pre-plannings for these paintings and drawings, but I've never put anything like lines on paper. I've only put shapes and values on paper, not a sort of a plan. So yeah, this has been interesting. So yeah, currently I am sketching out the dragon character, and I have the generic shape of her. Yeah, she's gonna be a her. I have the generic shape of her, and now I'm just currently just sketching like the body out and just trying to figure out like how is she going to look, I want her to be a really simple character too as well. I just don't know like what I want to do. I don't really even draw dragons this kind of way, but I don't know. I just wanted to try something different. I wanted something concept arty. I wanted something that was a definite problem. I wanted something that could really work with these two, and something that I could make happen. So I guess that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for this Sketchbook Sunday. Let me know if you have any questions on drawing or sketching or anything at all art related in the comments below. And Actually, answer me one question. Let me know how you go about planning your drawings. I definitely want to hear that in the comments below. Are there any resources that you use? How do you keep your ideas? Do you keep them in a book? Do you not keep them in a book? Are they all in your head? Let me know in the comments below, because I totally want to hear your methods and opinions, and I'm very sure other people would as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, please make sure you check out my free resources list on my page, prettykittycommissions.com/shop, and I will see you guys on Thursday. Have a pretty kitty kind of day, and take care.